everyone, Eloise here today for lawnfawn, and for today's project I'm going to be using the Scalloped treat box dies along with the Some Bunny stamp set and the Easter Party stamp set to create some super cute Easter treat boxes that would be perfect for kids, but I also think equally for adults, like co-workers or something. I just think they're super cute to add a few Easter eggs into, and they're just really fun. So I just started out by cutting this 4 times out of some mermaid cardstock. Once they are all cut out, I'm just going to reinforce the score lines. This die is really cool in the fact that it does score where you need to fold the box, but with a really thick cardstock like this, I generally like to just reinforce them a little bit more using a scoring tool, just to make sure that I get a nice fold and it doesn't crack or anything like that. So I'm just going now over these score lines and just folding the box up, and now it's time to add the adhesive. So I'm using some 1/4 inch Scor-tape here. Any tape would work. This is just what I have because it's super strong and it works really great for goodie boxes. And I'm just going to add it on the 2 flaps on each piece. So you are going to need 2 pieces to assemble the box, and I'm just adding just the adhesive on the flaps. So I'm just cutting down these strips of adhesive, and then once I've gone ahead and added the adhesive on the flaps, I'm just going to assemble one side together. So you just remove the backers and push it upwards onto the side of the box. Then I'm going to go ahead and add some adhesive to one of the bottom sections. So this is going to adhere onto the bottom of the box. So you just need adhesive on one of the sides. So I've just gone ahead and added that on, and now I can assemble the rest of the box together. So now I'm going to remove the adhesive off the bottom of the box. Then I'm going to sort of fold up the sides and insert it into the other side of the box that is already partially put together. I'm going to press that down with my fingers, and then I can assemble the rest of the box. So I'm going to remove the adhesive backer off one more of the flaps, adhere it onto the side of the box, and then remove the other 2 backs of adhesive off the other 2 flaps and press the other side of the box together as well. Super duper easy. Once you've got all of those score lines folded, it goes together really easily. And then you just push down in the middle of the box to adhere the little pieces on the side. Super cute. I absolutely love this box die, and I cannot wait to make a ton more treat boxes for lots of different occasions. So once one box is put together, I'm just going to go ahead off camera and assemble the second box. Now it's time to colour up all of my images. So since I'm creating 2 boxes today, I'm going to need to stamp double all of my images. So I'm going to use, I think in the end, 2 of the bunnies, the little watering can, the little plant box, as well as the carrots and the flowers. I ended up stamping all 3 of the bunnies and colouring them in, but I definitely only needed 2 just because they wouldn't all fit on my box. So I'm just going to use some jet black ink and stamp these images down onto my Nina Solar White cardstock, my favourite for Copic colouring. And so once all of my images are stamped down, I am going to use my Copic markers to colour them in. And these images are super quick and easy to colour. I feel like there's not too many colours going on, so it's really quick, and the shading on the bunnies and things can be really super simple as well. Okay, so now that all of my stamping is done, it's time to move on to the colouring. So I've gone ahead and sped this part up and not included all of the colouring, just because this video was going to be really long otherwise, and I just wanted to make it as fast as possible. But I am including most of the Copic colouring. So I always start from dark to light. I just find it a little bit easier and I seem to get a better blend. So for my bunnies, I'm colouring them all in grey. So I first started off with W3 and just went around the edges where I think the shadows would be and where the darkest areas would be. Then I'm blending that out with W0 and then blending all of that out with W00. And you also can go back in with a 0 marker to blend that out into white if you like as well. Then for all of the bunny ears and also the noses later on, I'm using R00 and also R000. Now for the planter boxes, I'm going in with some E70s. So I'm first starting off with E77, blending that E77 out with E74, and blending that all together with E71. I am going to use quite a few different browns in this, so I did want them to be quite different. Then I'm using some E30s, but the darker E30s for the soil. So I'm starting off with E39 and then moving down to E37 and finishing off with E35. Then I'm moving on to my carrots, and so I'm just using YR18 as my darkest, then YR12 as my mid-tone, and Y21 as my lightest. And I know that Y21 is technically a yellow, but I feel like it blends really well to make a nice orange with these other two colours. And then for the last step that I'm going to show is just the green bits on top of the carrots. So I'm going in with my favourite green combination, which is YG17, YG23 as my mid-tone, and YG21 as my lightest. So now that all of my colouring has been completed, a full list of the Copic colours I use will be over at the blog as well. And now I'm going to use all of the coordinating dies to cut out all of my images. So this did take a little while because there's doubles, and obviously I don't have 2 dies for each image, and then especially the flowers and the carrots took a while. But once they are all cut out, it's definitely easier than fussy cutting. I can sort of start assembling how I want my sides of my treat boxes to look. So I'm going to be only covering 2 sides of my treat box just to make it a little easier. So I'm just sort of arranging on my craft mat here how I sort of want my images to look. So I'm just going to place them down on my craft sheet. So this is where I decided that I only needed the 2 bunnies since 3 definitely wasn't going to fit. And I'm just arranging like the little spade and the carrots and things and getting them all set up so I know how to adhere them onto my treat boxes later on. Now it's time to cut down the grass pieces. So I've got some Cilantro cardstock here, and I'm going to cut it down to 3 inches wide since that's how wide my box is. Then I'm going to cut that piece in half and cut 2 of the grassy borders out of each piece. So these are the grassy hillside borders, and I'm just cutting 2 of them out of each of the cardstock pieces. Now that those are all die cut, I can go and adhere them onto my boxes. So I'm just adding some runner adhesive there and pressing it down onto the bottom of my box. I found this easier by lining up the bottom on the craft mat, and that means that I just managed to get it in the perfect position every time. You could go ahead and adhere pieces on the sides if you would like to, but I decided to leave them plain just to make them a little bit more simpler, but you definitely could add the pieces on the side if you wanted to go that extra step. Now it's time to adhere all of my images down. So I'm going to be just using a mixture of flat adhesive and also dimensional adhesive. I didn't really want there to be all of them adhered with dimensional adhesive. The ones in the background were just a little bit easier to adhere flat, so that's what I decided to do. Then I'm just finishing up the back of the box here with adhering that second bunny, and then also giving him a little spade and a carrot as well. So now that all of my images are adhered onto the front and backs of my treat boxes, it is time to work on the sentiment. So I've gone ahead and pulled out the extra sentiment banners dies, and I'm just going to be using the small skinny one here. I've gone ahead and cut that out twice of some black cardstock, and I'm going to white heat emboss the Happy Easter sentiment onto each of these banners, more towards one side just because I need to punch a hole in the other. So I've gone ahead and white heat embossed those off camera, and now it's time to punch the holes. I just used my crocodile, but any hole punch here would work. Then I've just gone ahead and pulled out some hot cocoa lawn trimmings, and I'm just going to thread that through one side of the handle of my box, and this is just so it can be easily opened and closed and I don't have to untie the bow every time. So I've gone ahead and threaded that through, threaded on the sentiment, and now I'm just going to tie a small bow at the top, and this finishes it off really nicely, especially since I didn't leave any room for a sentiment on the front or the back of the box. So this is just a really nice way to add on a sentiment. Now it's time to open up these boxes and add in my treats. So I picked up this fake grass at Target. I think it's just like from crepe paper or something like that. You could probably just shred it yourself though using some scissors if you don't have this. Just get some like crepe paper or tissue paper and just cut it up into strips. But I just bought this pre-made quite a few years ago, and it works really well for Easter projects. So I'm just going to fill each of my treat boxes just with some of this grass, and then pulled out some of my favourite Easter eggs to fill these with. And these were just perfect for the video since I feel like the colours matched and there wasn't too many like bright or like real metallic foil colours, so that's sort of why I chose these eggs. Plus I love them, and these is my favourite chocolate of all time. So once I've gone ahead and filled up my boxes, I can close them up, and this is really easy. You just pinch together the middle of the box, press it down, and then push it through the slots on the side. Lawnfawn does such an amazing job at creating treat box dies. I know this one has been out for a little while, but I've only just picked it up, and I'm always so stunned at how creative they are. So that finishes up both of my treat boxes today. You could create as many as you like. I just created 2, and I'm just going to give these away to a couple of the kids that are in my class that I'm in at the moment. And I think they're going to really love these and enjoy the little treats that are in them as well. So I hope you were inspired and you enjoyed my little treat boxes today. Gift bags and things are always so much fun to make using lawnfawn dies and stamps. I just enjoy making so many different designs. So thank you so much for watching today. The supplies will be listed and linked over on the blog post, and I will catch you all next time.